everyone, welcome to another Disney draft day. It's been a while since we've done a Disney draft. Our very first draft was a Disney draft, and this time we're back with Disney voice performances. And joining me again, I believe for the second month in a row, I have Chad and Carrie who are on the horror draft. Chad, I believe you won the horror draft, the slasher
I
draft.
did.
I have to go back and check, but yeah, I
Oh.
believe you won. How does it feel coming off of a strong victory?
Pretty good. I'm a pretty good slasher fan. Let's see how I do with Disney. I did
Very-
Disney once on here before, so
I was gonna say very different tonally. I'd say. Well, maybe not. Some of them are a little darker. And Carrie, how you doing?
Good.
Good. Yeah, we're glad to have you guys back again. And joining us again, I believe he was on the Tom Hanks draft day way back when, and he's back. It is Brian Nussbaum. Otherwise, I'll put you up there as wrong leather. Not to give away any picks, maybe, but that was my villain pick for the Disney draft.
Yeah.
The great queen herself. Actually, she's not a queen, but she is in my heart. Brian, how you doing?
It's great to be back here. This is my jab. I love me some voice actors, so might as well do this.
That's right. Disney is your jam. And Disney is also this next guest jam. And he has never been on draft day. He's actually never been on the channel before, but I've done stuff with him, like rank 'em and other things. And he reached out a while ago. Was like, I'd like to be on some drafts sometime. And I was like, I have just the draft for you. I wanted to bring him on a Disney draft because I know he loves Disney. It is Jacob Barber. Jacob, how you doing?
It's a little cold. I just got home and it's like 40 degrees in Washington. So, hopefully the heater kicks on sooner rather than later.
Yeah, tell Elsa to let it go. She's making it too cold outside.
Here, so.
Yeah, it got way too cold around here. But hopefully we warm y'all with some nice warm conversations and smiles about Disney, because we all love Disney. But like I said, we're doing voice performances. So before we get into the draft, let's go over some rules real quick. There'll be 5 rounds total. It's a random snake draft, so the first pick will be the last pick in the second round, and so on. And we'll decide that order via a wheel. So if you're spun first in the wheel, you don't get to necessarily go first. You get to pick where you go in the order. So whoever's spun first will get to pick their spot in the order. So you could end up getting the first overall pick and not be spun on the wheel. It just works out that way sometimes. You're drafting performances, not characters. So as much as we might love some characters, we're going for like the actual performances themselves, and obviously the characters and popularity plays into some of those as well. For this particular draft, each person must pick one classic performance. So that's pre-1989. We're only going with one because these are some lesser known names nowadays, but there are still a lot of great performances to choose from. 2 Renaissance performances. This, I would say, is like the most popular era, so it also has a lot of the most popular performances. So we're going to get 2 from that era, which is obviously from Little Mermaid to Tarzan. And then 2 modern performances, which is anything after the Renaissance to present. So that's your post-Renaissance, your kind of experimental CGI stuff, the low-rated Rotten Tomatoes stuff, and then the really recent stuff that's won a lot of Oscars. So all those are encompassed in the 2 modern performances umbrella. So you get 2 of each, and then 1 classic. And once a performance is taken, you cannot take that same performance in a future sequel. So, for example, I put an example here. I just alluded to her earlier because she's making the weather so cold. If you pick Idina Menzel as Elsa in Frozen, someone can't take her in Frozen 2. So you're taking Idina Menzel as Elsa as your pick, like her whole body of work as Elsa. But if Idina Menzel, and I don't believe she is, but if she was in another movie as a different character, you can pick that other performance. So an actor can be used as many times as you want, but an actor playing a role can only be picked once, if that makes sense. So we can clarify as we go. And if anyone disagrees with the eligibility, if they think, hey, that person, we've already brought up the performance, or they're in the wrong era or anything, if you want to veto it, we can veto, and you need at least 3 of the 4 other panelists to veto in order to overturn the pick, and then you'll just have to pick again. And sometimes that's led to good things. Sometimes vetoes have led to even better choices. And sometimes we've gotten into big arguments about, actually on the Disney draft, whether Stitch is a side character or not, which I don't know if we've come to a conclusion
He's
on
more
that.
main character than side character.
I'm a side character.
Or a sidekick to Lilo versus a main character. I don't know.
I think
Usually
there's only
sidekicks aren't in the title.
Yeah.
I think there's only been maybe like 1 veto that actually went through.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And it was, I think, the Eye of Sauron, and it helped you because you got an even better pick out of it. So I do have the wheel up here. We have everyone's names here. I'm going to spin it. Whoever gets spun first will get to pick their spot in the order, like I said. So you don't have to go first. You can go second, third, fourth, fifth. And, oh, crap. I didn't want this because...
Rigged.
No, because I have a lot of... See, the thing is, I have one category that I just don't know how to decide. So I could go first overall and just get it out of the way, but then I don't know what the first overall here is. So I'm going to go fifth. I'm going to let it come to me. I'm going to let it cycle to me.
Interesting.
Dylan loves that spot. I could
I
tell.
like to go back to
That's where I
back
would've
because
chosen.
I want to be also be
here.
able to have my final say in the whole draft. Like, be like, from all the performances, I get the final pick. So like, I like that because I think there's a kind of like a 1-1 that everyone expects, but I'm also like, but then that would take off so many other choices. So I'm gonna just let fate come to me. So I'll go fifth. So now I'm removed. Let's see who's next. It's Brian. Brian, would you like to go first, second, third, or fourth?
Let's go second.
Second. Okay. So you're going to go second. I'll wait to see where everyone else lands before I switch our windows around. Let's see. And Jacob, where would you like to go? First, third, or fourth?
We'll go fourth.
Fourth. Okay, perfect. So that means Carrie and Chad are going to have the first and third picks. Let's see who has which. And the wheel will decide that Chad gets to determine fate and destiny. Chad, would you like first overall or third overall?
I'm gonna go first.
First. All right. So I'm going to put you first, but then we'll go back to Brian, back to Carrie. So remind me not to go in that order. But first will be Chad, second will be Brian, third will be Carrie, fourth will be Jacob, and I will be fifth. So, Chad, sir, you are on the clock with the first overall pick in this draft. What are you going with?
I'm gonna go with something that is close to my heart. It's close to Carrie's heart, and it's probably close to like everyone's heart around here. I'm gonna go with something from one of our favorite movies, The Lion King,
Oh,
1994. Which one is it? It's gonna be Mufasa, James Earl Jones.
Oh, okay. Maybe I should have gone first. Damn it, I have him right behind me. Oh,
I didn't know if that's one that you absolutely needed. I'm sorry, but I do feel, because I was sitting there thinking I'm not going to say any other names from the movie because there's a lot of really great performances to pick from there. But when I was sitting there thinking, I was like, you got like little baby Simba, you got older Simba, you got like a lot of different like things you can pick from there, but I was like, this guy's iconic. James Earl Jones, he's Darth Vader, he's Mufasa, and I just feel like that film just wouldn't have as much weight to it if James Earl Jones wasn't in that role, having that deep, like commanding voice, like that. That voice goes with that Mufasa roar, and then just to see him, the strong sides, but then also the very light sides when he's being playful with Simba, when he's teaching him things and stuff. I just think he did a really fantastic job with the performance, using that iconic voice to make this one of the most beloved classics. So Mufasa.
Speaking of your own little Lion King right there. Yeah, it's a great performance. I think the best selling point for that being the one overall pick is that in the remake, all these remakes, they've recast these roles. He's the one role in any of these remakes that they didn't recast. So I think that's
Can't replace him.
Yeah, they can't replace him. Any other thoughts on Mufasa, anyone? Was it on anyone else's draft board? It was on mine.
All mine.
Really?
I have a theme gun.
Oh, okay. Jacob, any thoughts on Mufasa?
I mean, it's a great pick. Worthy of number one. Yeah, like you said, I mean, they didn't recast him for good reason. Like, when you hear Mufasa, like it would have just been weird hearing anyone else do the voice. Like, I was okay with the others being recast. I was like, all right, whatever. But it just would have been weird hearing anybody else as Mufasa.
Remember.
Yes.
Like
Love
Denzel
the
Washington
pick,
or something. Like,
yeah, it's a one overall. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense, and it's a popular character as well. Just voice aside, but it's because of that voice.
I love that you have that pop, by the way. That's amazing.
Yes, he's right behind me. But he will not be in my draft board. But Brian, you're next on the clock. Who would you like as your first pick now that James Earl Jones is off the board for Mufasa?
I'll go with another for the Red Sox. I'll bring up another great performance, Robin Williams as Genie.
Yeah, Robin Williams.
This is the most iconic performance ever in Disney film. You don't get, without Robin Williams, you won't get like these big name celebrities doing these voices of Disney characters. And he cemented himself with the performance. Friend Like Me, Prince Ali, great songs by him, and classically animated by Eric Goldberg for him. So Robin Williams my pick.
Yeah, I mean that's another solid pick. Another pop that I have behind me. He's up there. So you're all just like pulling from my background. It looks like. Uh,
That was the plan.
yeah, Carrie, Chad, Jacob. Anyone have thoughts on Robin Williams? I mean, Brian, you said a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's another iconic pick. It's not necessarily one of my favorites, but I know a lot of people love this character. He's very funny. I mean, Robin Williams is just one of the greatest like comedic minds out there. So to have him in your Disney movie, like it just elevated that film, so much so like people were really mad about Will Smith like reprising that role down the line. I think he did a really great job. He's not eligible for this draft, so that's why I brought him up. But people were so mad. I think he did a really good job, but it's something like really hard to top for a lot of people. So,
yeah,
Great
Carrie,
pick.
any thoughts?
Yeah, that's definitely one of like my favorite Disney performances. Just the energy Robin Williams brings to that character, and yeah, I think like Chad said, like seeing Will Smith in that role, I think it was fine because it was a live action movie. I think if they were to redo an animated version of Aladdin, there's just no way you could replace Robin Williams.
No.
Yeah, Will Smith's performance really slapped.
Yeah. Oh gosh, if his performance really slapped, that's funny, Brian. Jacob, any thoughts on Robin Williams?
Yeah, I mean he was high up on my draft board, obviously. So yeah, I think everything was said. Yeah, Will Smith. I think he did a good job, like making the character his own and not trying to recreate what Robin Williams did, because Robin Williams just like made this character his own. Like it's just incredible. So,
And Prince Ali is one of the best songs. So there you go.
oh, and Friend Like Me.
That too. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and again, the versatility of just he's doing all these different imitations and he's doing these different forms. Like he does the Jack Nicholson at one point. Yeah. I just think it's so versatile. And when we're doing this draft too, if they sing in the role, that also adds to it too. I mean, you're getting great vocals as well because he's keeping his own with the singing. And we did clarify off screen, like we are able to voice if they only sang for the role. We can pick those. So it'll be interesting to see the decipherings of those as well. I think someone's mic is buzzing a little. I don't know if it's Brian or Jacob, but
how about now?
Yeah, you're good now. It sounds okay now.
Sorry
I'll let you know if I hear it again. No, but that was a good pick. Again, these first few picks, it's like there's really nothing much to say because they're all so good. But Carrie, you're next on the clock, Carrie. So what would you like to pick for your first pick?
For my first pick, I'm gonna go classic.
Ooh, okay.
89, and I'm gonna go with Eva Gabor as Miss Bianca in The Rescue.
Good pick.
Oh,
Cool pick.
nice.
Eva Gabor,
The original
tell us.
Rescuers.
The original
Cool.
Rescuers, but she does also voice her in The Rescuers Down Under. I love both of those movies.
Well, you get both actually. Don't
Yeah,
you?
you got this is going to be your classic pick, but yeah, you technically get her as Miss Bianca. So again, that's one of those things. Now she's off the board for Renaissance, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, tell us why do you love Miss Eva Gabor?
She has such a distinct voice, and I think she really brings this like cute little character to life, like her kindness and her empathy, and still kind of like with this like really cool classiness to the voice. I don't know, and it's one as like we've been revisiting the Disney films that I just remember so distinctly from my childhood.
Definitely, yeah. Brian, you sounded like you liked that pick. Do you have any thoughts on Eva Gabor?
Yeah, Eva Gabor. I actually enjoy her more as a different character. I'm not gonna say which.
I know which one.
Yeah, Chad probably knows which one. So
yeah.
I haven't seen Rescue in a long time, so maybe watch it down the line. But it's a good pick, actually.
Yeah. And like Carrie said, with like the elegance and the class and the grace, like she just a very elegant person, and one of those old classic time movie stars. She was in Green Acres, I believe. Like she was a popular name. Like I don't think this generation would necessarily know her too well, but like they know her for The Rescuers because she did bring that voice to light. Jacob, any thoughts on Eva Gabor?
No, it's a great pick. She was on my list for the classics. I only wrote down 5 because like that's all it's going to be taken. So it's like,
right.
And it was one of the 5. Like it was one of the. I'm not going to say where it was on my list. I might be a little mad, maybe not. But no, it's a great pick. I was debating between classic and Renaissance for her, and maybe somebody else. Because it's just I think they voiced the characters so well. Like you guys said. So great pick.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I,
I think all the voice performances in The Rescuers are fantastic. Some of the strengths of that film, and she's like one that is probably going to say "darling" at some point.
mhm.
And so
Yeah.
it's got that really classic vibe to it, even though it's what Bronze Age Rescuers? Yeah,
Yeah, like the Dark
Yeah,
Age, yeah,
yeah,
Bronze Age.
Dark. That's where the Widow's Age.
Yeah. It's
Seven
interesting
levels.
also to see that like they made a sequel to this because this isn't necessarily the movie you would think would get greenlit, but it makes a little bit of sense just because it is an easy way. You can make so many stories of this concept of two mice going to check on kids who are in need. Like that's a very easy template to fill
Yeah.
in multiple different areas. So I think it's cool that they made a sequel to it, even though I wouldn't say either one was necessarily financially a huge hit. Especially, I mean, Rescuers, I think came out like right around the time Star Wars did, so it really wasn't a huge hit, but it's really gotten a cult following, and the fact that they made a sequel, I think, only helps that pick too. So
and sometimes you
great pick,
even forget that Down Under is even in the Renaissance. Still, you're like, oh yeah, that's
right?
a Renaissance movie.
The second
Yeah,
film of Renaissance, actually.
yeah. If it's released, I think a few months before Little Mermaid, I think they would rope it with the other ones, but it's not. Jacob, you're on the clock now for your first pick. Where are you gonna go?
I'm also gonna go classic because
Okay.
I think there's plenty to choose from the Renaissance, and there's I think a few highs in the classic. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to the Great Mouse Detective.
Oh,
I'm gonna go Vincent Price
Yep,
as
Oh,
Radigan.
figured.
nice.
Um,
uh,
yeah, I think this is not just from the classic era, but I think overall, like this is one of my favorite villains. Like I
Mhm.
think he's just tremendous. I need to revisit it. It's been a minute, but
what is it? Radisson?
Radigan,
Radigan.
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 Mhm.
And his song,
Radigan.
amazing,
Radigan.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's amazing. I mean, like you think of great high profile actors that they got for movies. That they got Vincent Price to do a Disney movie. Like that's pretty freaking cool.
Perfectly
And he
casted.
does such a good job. And I don't know if you all know this. Does he do the singing? I can't remember for that one role, for
I
that one song.
believe so, yeah.
Because it's a great number as well. I mean, I wish that movie had even more songs. But yeah, a great villain performance. I think that's the first villain. Yep, first villain on the board too, which is cool. Yeah, great performance. Anyone else have thoughts on Vincent Price?
It's epic. I think
Yeah.
that really makes that movie. Like him and the guy who voices the main character.
Mhm.
I think one of the best villain performances. Yeah, and iconic. So definitely great pick.
For sure. I'm just looking at his filmography. I'm like, I need to see more of his like movies because like I know the name. It's like Vincent Price, and I obviously know him from Edward Scissorhands. But I'm like, wow, I need to like see more of him.
And I love how angry like he gets when that one dude calls him a rat. It's like
you know,
like he's not a rat, and his name is Radigan. I remember I was like, when we were watching through the Disney movies, this one was a first watch for me, and I was
Same.
like so pleasantly surprised to see Vincent Price's name and like hear his voice with the character.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a great role, and I think it's a good movie too. I know Chad, Carey, and I are going to be talking a lot more about that later down the line on Chad's channel, like actually talking about these movies in depth. But I just did videos on my channel too, and I like Great Mouse Detective. It's cool, especially because I'm not the biggest fan of like other Sherlock Holmes stuff for some reason. Like I like the Robert Downey Jr. movies, but I don't love them. Like I think Benedict Cumberbatch's are my favorites, his series. But like this is like another cool like twist on that as well. So. All right. Well, I'm on the board, and you guys helped me out because I was like, should I take the one overall to get like Robin Williams or James Earl Jones, and you guys helped me with that, so thank you. But now I'm still in a predicament where I still have so many great performances. I'm gonna be the first one to take a modern one because this is someone who was not represented in our first Disney draft. I kind of took his counterpart, so I want to give him the honor here. And I think there's so many of these roles you could find another actor to replicate, but this role, I can't imagine anyone else voicing Kronk. It's Patrick Warburton. Patrick Warburton. Yeah, I can't not have Kronk on my board. He's, spoiler alert, top 3 or 4 characters Disney period. I love Kronk, and I think he's in a movie that I think is stacked with voice performances. I could pick one of those four. I'm not going to say what they are, but I could pick any one of those four central performances, even five if you're going to extend it to the supporting cast. But I think he is my favorite. He has the best one-liners, the best moments, the best cadence. He fits the comedic timing well. I think it's the funniest Disney movie, maybe the funniest movie of this century. So I think Kronk, awesome character, but I think Patrick Warburton does the work. And yes, it's still Patrick Warburton as you hear him everywhere else, which I think could be against it, but I think it just works for this character so well. Like they fit this character well to mold Patrick. And his nephew is going to be the new Bachelor, which is a fun little tidbit also for any reality TV fans. He's going to be the next Bachelor, Zach. I don't know if his last name is Warburton or not, but
It should be.
any thoughts on Kronk?
Yeah, it's not a knock against it because Patrick Warburton's voice is iconic. He's hilarious. I love him in
Family Guy.
Engagement.
Oh, yep, that's
Which
it.
was a really good show he was in. Just a lot of different Scream 3. He's just in a lot of like really great stuff. But like as Kronk, he's just iconic. That is the best part of that movie. Squeak, squeak, squeaking. And just like him even just doing his like, the hiding against the wall, like the and stuff like that. It's just everything is fantastic with him in that movie. And without him, that movie is not as good as it is. So great pick. That was one of the first ones that I thought of, and I'm mad that I can't have them, but I'm glad that you do.
Thank you.
Like, it was my next pick, actually, if it was going to be so.
Nice. So that's good draft strategy, Dylan. Nice job. I'm proud of myself. Any other thoughts on Kronk, Carrie, Jacob?
That's a great pick. Yeah.
Yeah, he when I was making the list for the post Renaissance, he was the first name that I wrote down. So a little salty, but not too much.
Yeah. So I get another pick now, and I'm gonna go back now to the Renaissance because I want to make sure because there's so many heavy hitters.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, do I want to pick one for my favorite movie, even though it's an agonizing task? Or do I want to just take one that I think stands out more in its own movie? Okay, I'm going to go... okay, I'll save them for later. I have one that I think I could take in the 5th round and I'll be okay with. But I'm going to take one that I think could get picked on the wraparound. And this may be a little bit of recency bias in the fact that we just lost her. But I'm going to go Angela Lansbury from Miss Potts. I think that is one of those performances where like I can't imagine anyone else doing that role, and I love Emma Thompson, but Emma Thompson as Miss Potts just wasn't the same. And I love Emma Thompson, but I do think Angela Lansbury just brings so much warmth to that role. She's great in the motherly role. She's just sings really well too. I mean, she's a Broadway legend. Sweeney Todd fans, you all know, like she's Miss Lovett, and it's just so nice to see her transition from show that wide variety of how far she can go in her acting in this movie. And I think that movie, the characters are all really strong, but in terms of voice performances, hers stands out, I think, the most, in the most iconic. Like, you could have someone else fake a French accent for Lumiere, as much as I love that character as well, but I'm not going to spoil any more picks, sorry. I was going to start rattling them off. But yeah, like, I love a lot of them. I know I'm breaking my own rule. It's frustrating, Chad, I'm sorry. But yeah, like, I think she's the one where I'm like, that, to me, can never be replaced. And I think just recency, also having just lost her, it kind of goes back to the Robin Williams thing. Also, like that plays into it as well. And there are a few other names too of people that passed within the past year that we might touch on that are in my honorable mentions as well. But Angela Lansbury, I wanted to get a Renaissance pick early because I think those are also the most popular characters. Like some of my picks, like my classic pick and my other Renaissance pick, will probably be less popular ones, so I wanted to kind of stack the more popular ones up here. So Kronk and Miss Potts couldn't be any more different, but I love them both, and so Angela Lansbury is going to be the first pick of the second round. Any thoughts?
Oh, Angela Lansbury, going all the way back to Gaslight that we covered on Picture This.
That's right. Yeah, her first role, and yeah, just such a long career too. Yeah, what was it, 1944, and then she just passed away at 22. Yeah,
iconic performance. And I think because you get that song, like, I think is why it's so important. But such a sweet character too.
There she is.
Little hot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all the potheads will be voting for me because of that, because they love the pot.
Yeah.
Yes, for me, it's a good pick. Actually, I heard a lot of people say when she say Billy Beast is all in one take. Actually, after coming back from a
Oh,
long flight,
wow. So she did
yeah,
it. You said she recorded it all in one take, you said?
yes.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful song, and she sings it so well. Because yeah, oh, it's such a beautiful song. That's good to know. Any thoughts on Angela Lansbury, Jacob?
I don't want to talk to you right now.
Oh, did I take your
Oh,
pick? Oh no, I
Harry
snagged it.
crossed it off. Barber
Yeah.
was like,
It was, yeah. It's Beauty and the Beast is one of my favorite, like not just Disney movies, but like one of my favorite animated movies and like movies period.
Mhm.
And she's a big reason why. Yeah, Emma Thompson, she did fine in the remake, but it's no Angela Lansbury. Like,
Right.
come on.
Yeah.
and
For
one
that role,
time,
like she's great, but like for that role, I'm
Yeah.
like, you just can't recast that.
Barber had to argue against Beauty and the Beast for a debate.
I did. It hurt so bad.
No way. What did you have to argue with? Do
The
you know?
Lion King.
Lion King.
Oh, okay. Okay. So so it's like apples and
Lost.
oranges. For like the best apple and the best orange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carrie, any thoughts on Angela Lansbury?
Yeah, that was a great pick. She was on my list. It's just an incredible performance.
Great. I'm glad I went with it then, because it seems like you all liked it and you all wanted her. So, Jacob, I'm so sorry I picked that, but you are going to get the next pick. So you get your first pick of whatever. You already took your classics, so you can get one of your two Renaissance or one of your two modern performances.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Renaissance here, and I don't know if I'm gonna go villain heavy, but it's looking that way so far. Cause I'm gonna go with Jeremy Irons as Scar.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh, I thought
Um,
about that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If
It was
James
between
Earl
those two
Jones,
for me. Yeah. Mm.
yeah, if James Earl Jones is number one from The Lion King, Jeremy Irons is second. His voice just fits that role so perfectly, and his villain song, like it might be one of my favorite like Disney songs. Period. It is so good.
I was gonna say, when we did our first draft with the five hosts from the channel, I remember we only got one song each, and that was one of the five picked, was "Be Prepared." So I was like,
It's
wow. I think Matt took it, right? So
It's
that
a
was a
really
pretty cool pick.
dark and creepy song with all the like Nazi imagery.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
God.
Oh,
Yeah.
so good. That I mean,
And-
that's such a great pick.
Yeah.
And if I didn't take a character from like one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time, I wouldn't have felt good with myself.
Yeah, I
And
get you.
and apparently Jeremy Irons like kept getting worn out, so they had to have somebody come in and sing.
Oh.
Partially. Partially.
Jim,
It was
Some of
Jim
it.
I wasn't
Cummings
gonna
who
say
sang
the
it.
name
Oh.
It
for
was Jim Cummings.
no pick.
Oh, was it really Brian? I mean,
Jim
yeah.
Cummings was
It was like
was-
partially Jeremy and partially Jim. So
Wow, nice.
but,
That's good to know. I didn't know that.
you can't get more iconic than Scar in that role. Like he's just so, oh my god, just so evil, and just Jeremy Irons just having that that voice. I can't do it, but just having that like really iconic voice. The real monkey's uncle.
yeah, because a lot of it is also playfully bad too. It's like
Mhm.
not just bad, but it's like, or evil, I should say, not bad, because bad insinuates quality. But yeah, like he's playfully evil
Oh,
at times,
evil.
like when he's like licking his fingers after eating the mouse or whatever. I'm like, ugh. That's more of a Scar thing than a Jeremy Irons thing, but he adds to it, which is awesome. Yeah. Any other thoughts on Scar, on Jeremy Irons?
No.
Cool. All right, we're moving right along. Carrie, you're up on the clock. You already took your classics. You have 2 from each of the other categories to pick from. Where are you going to go?
Okay, when Jacob said he was doing a villain, I was a little concerned it was going to be the villain I was going to choose next, but it wasn't. I'm picking Pat Carroll as Ursula in The Little Mermaid.
Ooh, nice. Another
I know.
R.I.P. R.I.P.
I don't hate her. I don't love Ursula. I don't hate her.
I just think her voice work in this is just so iconic. Just her kind of like deep, raspy voice, and just the vocal power she brings to the songs, especially. I don't know, something about it is just really, really awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and another, like Brian said, R.I.P. We lost her in the past year. Very sad, but I mean, yeah, it's almost like it's the deep voice too. It's just getting all those lower register notes and in the singing and the speaking. It's very menacing, and it fits the physical aura of Ursula too. That big, daunting presence, kind of boisterous. It's really really nice. Chad, you said you like Ursula, don't love Ursula.
She's growing on me. Like I really like that movie. So the character's growing on me a little bit more, but I don't know. Like as a kid, I just never liked that character. But it's still a great performance, regardless. So
Yeah.
great pick, Carrie. Iconic.
Yeah, Jacob, any thoughts?
Yeah, I take a little. I don't think Ursula is a villain. She is just a businesswoman making sure Ariel fulfills her contract.
I agree with that.
That's true.
Great pick. Great. Yeah.
Yeah, so good. Brian, any thoughts?
I agree with Jake, not really a villain aspirational chemistry that she's playing on the rank of one episode.
Wow.
And I love her villain song, even love her evil laugh as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm still in the villain camp, but I can see the argument that Ariel willingly signs that contract, but she's naive. I mean, we forget all these princesses are like 15 years old, which is funny. But yeah, great pick, amazing pick again. R.I.P. Brian, we're back to you. Fourth pick in the second round. We're moving right along. Who are you going to pick? You already have one Renaissance slot filled up.
I'm going to go for the 2000s. I'll bring up my favorite villain performance. I'll bring up Eartha Kitt and Yzma.
Yep. All right. Goes hand in hand with mine.
Yep. Well, she's so good in this role. The mannerisms she pulls, the vocal performance. My second favorite Disney film of all time is in my top 10 films of all time as well.
Nice. Yeah, it's a great one. Yeah, I mean that was my villain pick for the Disney draft in I forget what month we did it, but yeah, that was my villain pick. It's one of my favorite villains, so I get it. I love her performance, and I don't know if she does the voice of the cat.
Yeah, she does.
She does. Yeah.
There we go. Even better then. That makes me like it even more. Any thoughts?
There goes my pick.
Jacob on the
Cat.
I was gonna pick the cat.
Jacob, any thoughts on Yzma or Eartha Kitt as Yzma?
There's other cats you can get.
Yeah. No, it's a good pick. I don't think I'm as high on Yzma as other people, but there's no denying that the performance is top notch. Like with Kronk, I don't know if anyone else would be able to do that voice.
Yeah, that cast is just stacked in that movie, and she's so good. And I don't know, she's just menacing, but also very funny.
Yes.
In that role, I love her. She's so good.
Carrie, any thoughts on Yzma?
Yeah, just her voice in that role, like I can't picture anyone else in it, and she just like the comedic timing.
Yeah. All right. So Chad, you are up next. So yeah, you get two back to back. So think wisely.
I was waiting for this because I was hoping no one was going to pick this because I'm actually going with something very recent.
Oh. Okay.
And people may be surprised. Well, not Carrie, but some people may be surprised because I didn't love. I'm picking something from Encanto.
Oh,
a lot of people did. I know some people know that I didn't love like Bruno. That's like one of the songs that got so popular that I didn't really love personally, but I love so many other songs, and I really can't wait to get to this one to watch it because I'm picking Stephanie Beatriz.
Nice.
Mirabelle. I'm glad people are crossing off because. I was sitting there writing down a bunch of names. I was like, oh, I got to this, that. And then I was like, wait a second. Every single time I listen to the Encanto soundtrack, I get so excited for all of her parts. So when she's like, just like playfully, like joking with the kids around the place and just like being really silly, it's just... I'm so like baffled at how different she is in other roles in real life from like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And she's just so different. I just think she's like one of the best actresses we have around. I love seeing her in The Heights.
Mhm.
And then coming to Encanto and starring in this Lin-Manuel Miranda written movie, or with the songs at least. I just think that she just nailed this part, and I think I'm going to be a lot higher on the movie the second time around after re-listening to a lot of those songs, over and over and over, because I just love her vocal performance, as well as just, I don't know, it's just like not even just the singing. I think she's just fantastic with singing, but all of the speaking parts that she has during the songs too, I just think are just so great. And yeah, I love her, and I love her as Mirabelle.
Yeah, and it's you bring up the Lin-Manuel Miranda connection because like In the Heights, she was like the Lin-Manuel Miranda it girl last year within the
Yeah.
Heights and Encanto. But like he has this tendency to write a lot of songs where like the speech, as we know, is like from Hamilton is very fast and like very speaky singy, and she does that a lot in that opening number, like when she's listing family members really quick, like let's do a roundup,
And I love
she
when
does
she
that.
goes, "Time for a grandkid roundup."
Says
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Contacts and no, like
I
in
just
front
say
of our
that all the
families,
time.
like, no one knows what song it's about.
And that's why coffee's only for adults.
Yeah, but like just the way she speeds through that too is so impressive. Just as like a performer, like you said, like it's just very skilled. But yeah, those emotional, dramatic moments as well. And yeah, I love that performance too. I actually forgot to put it down because for some reason I stopped at like 2016 when I was writing down new ones. I just didn't think of the recent ones for some reason. But yeah, great movie, great character. Any thoughts on Encanto on Stephanie Beatriz? Anyone?
I have a. This is what was I haven't seen yet, so I can't really say it.
Oh, cool. Well, you should check it out. It's good. Jacob?
Yeah, I liked the movie, but none of the voice performances in it kind of stood out to me as like next level. Like they all just like they were all really solid, but maybe it's only because I've only seen it the one time, and like
Mm-hmm.
all the other movies and characters I've chosen, like I've seen multiple times, so they're just more memorable to me. But like with time, I could see it being like, yeah, this is a great performance.
Very recent pick, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
since Dylan picked Crunk, it made it easier.
Oh right, because that was probably your number one for that era. Was that?
It was like that
Oh,
Mirabelle, yeah.
but it made
Crunk,
it easy. Yeah.
yeah. Those two.
Yeah. Cool. So you do get another pick. You can pick your second one from this era. You can pick another Renaissance, or you can go classic.
I'm gonna go Renaissance.
Ooh, rounding it out.
No one's picked any of my classics yet, so I think I'm safe there. I'm gonna go Renaissance, and I was between two because I was like, I could go another like hero, or I could go villain, and I was really wanted to get like a villain on there, but I think I'm not gonna this round. This time. I don't think it's necessary. I mean, I'm gonna give Barber all the villains, and I'm just gonna end up taking a lot of heroes. Because there is a fantastic villain that no one has picked yet, and I'm excited for whoever gets that person. But rewatching a lot of these Disney movies, getting to the Renaissance again and getting to this film, it just like hit me, and I just felt like I was home. And this is the performance that made me feel that, and just really brought me back to little baby Chad childhood. And it's Jodie Benson as Ariel.
Oh, nice pick.
So I don't know. It's just when she starts singing "Part of Your World" and she just like belts that out, and I know it's just a character, but like the shot of her, on the rock and the sea
waves crashing, yeah,
just like everything with it. And I know there's a large part of this where she doesn't actually speak anymore, but still, all the parts that she does, like voicing her dreams and her wishes, and just everything. I had to get this one. I'm sorry. I love that performance so much.
I mean, it's a movie that is all about her voice, so like that's kind of a cool selling point. I left it off my list only because I was forgetting about the singing. I was tired when I put together this list. But yeah, that's a good point. Her singing is just so good in this. I forget, like she's amazing,
incredible.
Yeah, so yeah, great pick, and I love to see her pop up in Enchanted. They use a lot of the old.
She was in the first one.
Yeah, they use all the voice performers from different Disney princess movies, and like they have little roles in Enchanted. I believe she has one. Some other princesses have them too. I'm not going to list them because I'm smart. I'm not going to give away picks like I almost just did 10 seconds ago. Yeah, I love to see that they're still like utilizing her. And then, I mean, this kind of also counts toward Ralph Breaks the Internet too. The fact that all these princesses come back and they each get to have like a little moment or two. And Jodie Benson came back as well, so that's also cool. That like she got to kind of reprise her role all those years later, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
And I'm
Any,
excited for the live action one. I'm excited to see what they do with it.
yeah.
I'm curious if she
Any,
makes a cameo in the live action, Joy Benson.
is she what? What,
She
Brian?
makes a cameo.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Cool.
I'm curious if she does. So
Yeah, I trust that. That's nice. Carrie, any thoughts on Jodie Benson?
Yeah, this was actually number one on my list, but I decided to go with Ursula instead. Yeah, I was trying to decide between whether I would go hero or villain in Little Mermaid. But yeah, this is an amazing performance. I don't know if you guys had the VHS version of Little Mermaid where actually before the movie started, it was like Jodie Benson and and the fish, yeah.
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't know this. Tell me.
It's just like a little short clip. I can't even remember what it's about, but she's
I believe they show like
voices
Mulan. I
Ariel.
believe.
What?
I believe they show Mulan in the preview as well.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
So yeah, it was, I don't know. I always just remember seeing her, hearing her sing a little bit, like live action before the movie actually started.
So
That's
cool.
cool. I wonder if I have like a VHS. I have a VHS somewhere, but like I haven't watched it obviously in so long. Maybe it's there. I should check that out. Jacob, any thoughts on Ariel, Jodie Benson as Ariel?
Yeah, it's a great pick. This might be my favorite singing performance in Disney. She's just so good. But yeah,
That's a good one.
I she was lower on my list like for overall, but like if we were just doing singing, like number one or number two.
Right.
Like, she's incredible.
Yeah, incredible. So now we're on to so Chad went twice. I almost forgot you got the back-to-back princess picks. Brian, you're up, right? So who are you gonna go with now that you've got I think you got one pick in each category left?
Yep, I'll go with classic. I'll bring up Brother Felton and the Queen of Hearts.
Ooh, that's also a very good pick.
Yep,
Cool.
the whole vocal range, like she did make her since the early age, and this one fits her. Like get the quiet tone, then the louder tone. She gets angrier, and it's one of my favorite performances of it. It's one of my childhood films watching, so I'll bring up that one.
Yeah, it's a great pick, and obviously an actress who was utilized a lot in that classic era. So there's even more performances to choose from her. So I won't spoil them all, but a great talent. I mean, Verna Felton, a legend, and that performance is great. Obviously, doing a villain is, gives you much more range to kind of flex what you got, and she definitely does. And Chad, I know you like that movie a lot. So
That was
what are your
Queen of
thoughts on
Hearts
that?
from Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, Verna Felton. Yep.
Yeah, so great. Like I mean, the off with her head. I mean, she does all that so good. You hate that character so much because she's so rude, but she's also like very like the stakes are high because you're like she'll kill you in an instant for no reason, and just I mean that's the character, but the voice performance really sells it. So that's a really good pick.
Yeah. Any other thoughts, Carrie?
Yeah, this is a great pick. It wasn't one that I had thought of to be on my list, but as soon as you said it, I was like, oh yeah, like her voice performance in that is so good.
Yeah. Jacob, any thoughts?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. It's not one that I thought of, but yeah, it's pretty recognizable voice and character. So
yeah, I mean, I won't spoil another pick, but I remember Chad when watching another one of the movies texted me how much he hated a character. I was like, yep, no, that's Verna Felton for you. Which I won't bring up in case he brings it up later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Chad. She just plays nasty so well, but she has some nice roles as well. She has like so many likable characters, but also so many nasty characters. So she just has so much range. But we might talk about them later. Carrie, speaking of talking about, let's talk about your third pick. What are you gonna pick?
Okay. I am going to go with Paige O'Hara as Belle in Beauty and the Beast. It's another one. She does her, I believe, unless I thought I looked it up, and she does her singing in this movie.
Yes, she does.
I don't know. It's just such a sweet character, and she just brings Belle to life so beautifully.
Mhm.
And I don't know. This is just like was one of my favorite movies growing up, and I definitely wanted to. I don't know. Like Belle's voice has always just been a presence.
Definitely.
Yeah. Anyone else thoughts on Belle? I believe this is another princess they used in Enchanted. I believe Paige
Yes, the
O'Hara
soap opera,
is in it.
soap opera scene.
There you go, the soap opera scene. Brian, any thoughts on Belle, on Paige O'Hara?
I just want to say, perfect. It's a great pick. One of the most iconic voice performances, and it's a legend.
Yep, that's for sure. Jacob, any thoughts?
I don't want to talk to Carrie now either.
Oh, sorry.
Poor Jacob just keeps
Why?
getting sandbagged in this draft.
Twice.
Sorry.
I feel like Barber's the new Matt Chapman.
Yes. Yeah, when Matt's not here, Jacob has to fill in the role of I keep getting screwed over by everyone else in this draft.
Yeah, that's an iconic pick. Obviously, I mean, there's not much else to say, and I just love that Carrie got a character that she really loves, or voice performance she really loves from one of her favorite Disney movies.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's just so good.
Yeah. So Jacob, you didn't get that, but you get it now to another pick. So let us know what your next pick is, and you can let us know.
Oh, this is tough because now I'm looking at a villain again.
Okay.
I'm looking at a couple.
We know.
I sense a theme in Carrie's list, and I sense a theme in yours, and yours is the villains. So I like it.
Yeah, one I feel is underrated, and one I feel is totally beloved. I'm gonna go with the one I think is slightly underrated. I'm gonna go with Tony J as Judge Frollo from Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh my God! Wait, dude,
guy.
that I wrote it down. It's an expo marker, so I can erase it. But I wrote it down because I'm like, no one's gonna pick Tony J. I literally wrote him in the 25 spot because I was like, he's gonna be my sleeper. I'm gonna get him at the end. Holy shit, Jacob! You know how you just felt when me and Carrie took your picks? You just broke my heart, sir. But tell us about Tony J because that is a phenomenal pick.
Yeah, he's just a creepy villain, and the voice just makes it so perfect. I recently rewatched Hunchback earlier this year. I've always liked the movie.
Saw it the other day. Or yesterday.
And then this most recent rewatch, I love this movie. Like this might be in my top 10 like Disney movies. I loved it that much. And that's just like the quality of the Renaissance of every movie almost I feel is great. And this is and again another iconic villain song, at least in my opinion. And just the creepy imagery that goes along with it. I don't think I've hated a villain as much as Judge Frollo. Like he is just
bastard. Yeah.
And it's so real too. It's
sets
like
a house on fire.
He's not magic in the sense of some other villains. Like he's not turning into animals or he's not doing any voodoo shit. It's like literally just like religion and and power and politics. And I'm like, wow, like this is real. For some reason, I just assumed everyone I feel like in the last few years now, everyone loves Hunchback, but I feel like for a while it was just like everyone was like, "Oh, Hunchback sucks." It's like gargoyles are stupid. That movie. And so I was like, "I'll get Tony J later," because no one's really talking about Hunchback. No one's thinking about Hunchback. And then Zach picks a song from Hunchback in the first draft. You pick Tony J here. I'm glad to see the Hunchback love, even though I'm at the expense of it.
Well, didn't Zach play Quasimodo?
He did, so it helped. But I mean, like, I'm glad there's a resurgence for Hunchback, but I'm mad because I thought this was my sleeper 25th pick. Like, I'm gonna snag him at the end because it's a great performance and. Damn, that is a great pick. Probably the best bass singing I've heard, in just that lower register. Like I can't even hit the notes he's hitting. It's so low and rich and resonant. It's amazing. Very few men can hit notes that low. It's almost otherworldly. Damn, he's so good. And I won't spoil other vocal performances of his, but he's great in everything else in the Disney canon too. So.
Yeah, I like the way too. Just a side note on the soundtrack, they have Quasimodo's song. And then they just play right into this song, and it's just such a contrast of styles. It's so good.
Man, Hellfire is such a good song. Tony J, man. Oh, I'm so happy he went third round. I'm like, that is the steal. That's that's in an NFL draft when you draft a quarterback from a school that not everyone has their eye on, but then they end up being the top NFL quarterback in their first rookie year. Yeah, exactly. Tom Brady was like the last one picked his year, and he ended up being the GOAT. So like, I'm like, wow, that's wow, great pick. Anyone else thoughts on that? I'm still amazed that wow, that's amazing.
I think there's a reason because I don't think a lot of people have him in their heads as like top tier, but that doesn't mean that he's not great quality. I mean, like Dylan is, gushing over that performance right now. But there's a reason it's so good, but he's not, freaking Scar or something like that people think of. So that's a really good, middle high mid pick, I guess. Third
Yeah,
pick.
yeah. I mean, it fits for that third round. It's like the sleeper. I love it. Carrie, any thoughts on that performance?
Yeah, I just watched this movie today. We watched it, and I forgot about that song, and I was like, "How did I forget about this?" Because it is so good, and Tony J is just like giving it his all. It's amazing.
Yeah, Brian, any thoughts?
I mean, it's a great pick. Hunchback is in my one Trey films of all time. I love the music. It's great. It's a great performance. Second best performance for Tarzan. You have it for a different movie, which I'll probably give a shot later on, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Tony J's on my list a few places. So, yeah, just such a great performance. Okay, so I'm on the clock and I don't know what I'm gonna do now because I was like, maybe I'll just bring him up now just to be safe. But
You
now,
got 2 in a row, bro.
but because he was gonna be my other Renaissance pick, so now all the Renaissance is open up again because I'm like, I still have one more Renaissance pick, and I thought he was gonna be my other one. So
We'll give you some Jeopardy music if you
no, I can pivot. I can. All right, let's go Zootopia.
Ooh.
Let me go. Oh, I'm between two because that movie's chock full of them. But
Yeah.
I'll go because he's one of my favorite actors. I'll go Jason Bateman. I'll go
Okay.
Jason Bateman as Nick Wilde. This is one of those movies that like I think is underrated because it doesn't have songs, so people don't always or like it's not a musical, so people don't always think of it first, and it's still recent enough where like people aren't like it's still not being talked about like a lot of these other movies, even of modern era. But I think it's a really good movie, and I think his performance is really layered because he's got that sliminess at the beginning, but then you realize he has that heart of gold as it goes along, and it's a coolness, and I don't know if it's necessarily different from a lot of other stuff Jason Bateman does, but I think it's kind of like Angela Lansbury and Patrick Warburton, where it just has to be his own voice, and it does so much. Like that's the thing with voice acting. Sometimes you don't need to put on a voice; you could just do your own voice, and it's an iconic voice. And I think that's kind of my theme. I guess I got going on is like Jason Bateman's not really putting on any voice; he's just speaking the lines, and it works because he is. Has such a great iconic voice, and maybe it's a little bit of early. Maybe I could have gotten him later, but I like the pick because I like that movie and I wanted to represent something, and I didn't really know where else to go in the present day just because I have so many choices. I was like, you know what, I'll pick that one. So, and any thoughts on Jason Bateman?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have been able to get him later because once again.
Oh. Okay.
Once
I thought we were
again,
going villains only. That's why I was like, I won't lose it.
I was thinking about it, but also like I have a list and he's there and he's pretty high up.
All right. Well, I'm glad.
As far as Utopia goes, like he was the one that I wrote down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
There's definitely one more that I wrote down from Zootopia. I didn't write Jason Bateman down, but I think he's great in everything he does. And I remember when Zootopia, I mean, I have it like right here.
Oh, nice.
When Zootopia came out, I remember like people were like, this is like next level as far as like progressive themes in a Disney film, as far as like Disney going from not so progressive to being super progressive. Like, holy shit, look at Zootopia. So I feel like this is a great one to like revisit. And I don't really remember his voice performance that much, but I'm very looking forward to revisiting it.
Yeah. Any thoughts, Brian?
You say there's no music. There is one song, "Try Everything," in there.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, but it's not like a full-fledged musical. So where like I feel like I could talk about the movies because they're not performances, but like Frozen and Moana and Encanto now, like I feel like they're more talked about just because they have so many songs that people like listening to. That was my point. But it's still a great movie.
Not the one I would go to for drafting, but it's a solid pick though.
Thank you, Carrie. Any thoughts? Oh, sorry, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry. I wasn't sure if Chad was going to the bathroom. He's not. It is like Jason. he's like the perfect voice for that role. Like, I don't know, I couldn't picture anyone else in it.
Yeah. Okay, so I got my other Renaissance pick. I thought about it while all of you were talking. I'm gonna do this, and it actually I was between two, and then as soon as Chad left, I saw the beautiful red bird behind him, and I was like, "That's what I'm gonna go with. I'm going Gilbert Gottfried as Iago." And
Cross the Phoenix, but
no,
yeah.
I know, but it inspired me because I was between Iago and one other character from spoiler alert Lion King. I won't say which one, but I was between
Another person that passed away recently. Go ahead.
yes,
Exactly.
yes, another one. But then when I was between Iago and another pick, Chad got up and I was like, Redbird. All right, that's what I'm doing. So thank you, Chad. I'm going Gilbert Gottfried because like in that movie, yes, Robin Williams is like the one people think of first, but like I can't imagine anyone else as Iago either. Like that to me is so good. And Chad kind of helped make my point in that Will Smith was still a really good genie, but like I don't even remember. I don't think they had someone play Iago. I think they just
It was
made him.
Alan Tudyk. Alan Tudyk versus Iago.
Okay, and I love Alan Tudyk, but I'm sorry, but that was not memorable in the same realm as Gilbert Gottfried. Like it didn't stand out like Gilbert Gottfried did. So like I'm glad that argument helps me too because like I think there's no one else to make that character that good like Iago and like Gilbert Gottfried. And I think in the sequels even when they recast a few roles, I don't think they ever recast him because he's so
Same
good.
person.
Yeah, it's the same.
I think for TV series as well, same person. I think.
Yeah, so it's just an amazing performance, an amazing talent, like Chad said, gone too soon, but amazing legacy he left behind. I mean, like, I think that's like I said, the theme of my draft is like these are people who didn't have to change their voices for a role, like they just have iconic voices as is, like Angela Lansbury, Pat Warburton, Jason Bateman, Gilbert Gottfried, like they all just have instantly recognizable voices where you hear their voice and you can think of them, and that may work against these because like yeah, it's the same voice and everything else they do, but again, like it doesn't matter because in Aladdin it's Iago. So yes, he's the same. He sounds the same if you talk to him in person. But I think that's awesome. Like the fact that you could talk to him in person, or were able to talk to him in person when he was alive and hear Iago. Like that's kind of cool. But yeah, I love that character. Love that pick. So
yeah, like his voice was so like weird, abrasive, but also unique and very fit for like animated. Like it's just, I don't know, it's just so recognizable and iconic, like you were talking about. So like for that character who's like this, like conniving, like villain assistant kind of pet, not pet, but creature, bird,
is a pet,
whatever. It's just like
squawking parrot.
And
yeah,
just
he squawks. I mean, that's what parrots do. They squawk. And Gilbert Gottfried squawks. Like it's it's great.
You wouldn't think that it would hit like Gilbert Gottfried. Look at how he talks. That would be suited for a voice performance in an animated film. Like you wouldn't think about that initially, and then he does it, and then you're like, it fits. It works so well. He's the best.
Yeah, I love it. Anyone else? Carrie, any thoughts?
Yeah, it's interesting because when you're a kid, you don't really know necessarily that like the voice actors are like famous actors and actresses. Yeah. And so I was rewatching this movie. I was like, oh shit, that's Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah, I wonder if there were people who thought when they watched it, they were like, "Oh, he must sound like a normal guy outside." He was putting on a voice, and then when they hear him in interviews, they're like, "Wait, that's his voice," which I think is funny. Which can also be said for like James Earl Jones or Patrick Warburton. It's like, no, that's how they sound. It's like it's cool. Yeah. Any thoughts, Jacob?
Yeah, it's such a good voice performance. Like people overlook the fact that he was able to switch his voice to sound like Jasmine. I mean, come on. That scene in the movie is just so good. No, all jokes aside, like it is. Yeah, it's one of those iconic voices that you can't hear anyone as Iago, and until Brian mentioned who voiced him in the remake, I didn't know because it just wasn't as memorable.
Right. Great, Brian. Any thoughts on Iago and Gilbert Gottfried?
All I was said, I caught one of the underrated performances, and gone too soon.
Yeah, gone too soon. Rest in peace to him and Pat Carroll and Angela Lansbury, all recent. I'm glad we all represented them all, and obviously so many other stars we're going to mention, especially from the classic era, have passed. But like those are recent; those are still fresh, which is unfortunate. But Jacob, Let's see if you continue the villain train or if you're going elsewhere. You've already filled up your Renaissance picks and your classics, so all you have to
Yeah.
pull from are the modern ones. So what are you going to go with first?
Yeah, I didn't plan on just going in order of the eras, but it kind of worked out for me.
Yeah, it's kind of
And
cool.
I'm looking at my list, and yeah, I think I'm going to continue with another villain. And this time I'm going to go with Donna Murphy as Mother Gothel
Oh,
from
nice,
Tangled.
nice.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Another great villain song as well with Mother Knows Best. Because she's one of those the voice performance like it. She has moments where she's sounding so sweet and like she loves Rapunzel and but then like she can switch it and just sound like mean and menacing and I just think it's a great performance
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
one of the best Disney movies of the 2010s and I think she's a big part of that.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of my favorites. And it's great because like it's easy, like I said, to do like a conniving villain, but to do someone who's just kind of real and like in her case very manipulative. Like she's almost her villainy is through like sweetness. She's almost like, oh Rapunzel, I'm gonna protect you, I'm gonna keep you safe, and like that's manipulative and evil, and she's so amazing. I remember when Bette Midler was doing Dolly on Broadway and Hello Dolly, her understudy was Donna Murphy, and there were shows where Bette Midler was scheduled to not be there, so Donna Murphy would do like the matinees, and I remember people would go to see her and be like, y'all, Donna Murphy's better. Like I love Bette Midler, but it was funny because people would then start lining up to see Donna Murphy. So when Bette Midler left, I believe Donna Murphy got to play the role herself for like a few months before Bernadette Peters came in. But I remember like that was like a huge thing. Was like Donna Murphy was like amazing, and obviously like I'm a fan of her stage work, but to see her also get picked for a Disney movie and get to show off the singing chops and all those acting chops there was pretty cool. Any thoughts on Donna Murphy, Brian?
I mean, there's a theory going around that she was actually the evil queen for Snow White going around, or
Oh,
Mother
cool.
Gothel.
Um, but that's been cast, right? Isn't it Gal
Uh,
Gadot?
no, there's a theory going around, like a fan theory.
Oh, a fan theory that she is like the character Mother Gothel is the evil queen from Snow White.
Yes.
Oh, I haven't heard that, but
Yeah.
that's a good fan theory.
Uh,
I thought you were
and,
saying she was in
no,
rumors
she
to be
wasn't.
playing
No.
the evil queen in the live
No.
action. I was like, no, that's Gal Gadot.
No,
Um,
it's actually a good performance. Tangled is one I've seen, but I may have to go back. It's been a long time since I've seen that one, so I'll probably go back and read the performance.
nice. Chad or Carrie, any thoughts on Mother Gothel on Donna Murphy?
Well, I was just gonna say, like, make another Disney joke and say that maybe Bette Midler was just putting spells on people.
Yep,
Uh,
I knew you'd make that
But
joke.
no, I mean, I don't actually remember this like voice performance that well because I've only seen Tangled once, but I really liked it. I think she's a really great villain, so I'm excited to return to that, especially since Barber and Carrie put her in high
Oh,
regard.
Carrie, you had her high.
Yeah,
Carrie, what do
I
you have
have
to
her
say?
on my list.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was because like Jacob said, she's able to like make that switch from sounding like so sweet, but also like manipulative to just like downright evil. Like it's so cool.
Yeah, it's a great pick. Carrie, you actually have the next pick, I believe. So you've gotten your Renaissance and your classic out of the way. You also only have the modern characters
Yeah.
left.
And I'm gonna stick with Tangled, but I'm gonna go with Mandy Moore as her.
Nice.
Oh, Rebecca Pearson.
Yeah. She was great casting for this role. She has a great voice. She does the songs really well, and I don't know. I think she is just part of what makes this the best modern era movies.
Yeah, Chad said Rebecca Pearson. I love her because it's like she's so iconic in both. Like I don't think there's one iconic performance. She gives so many. But Chad, any thoughts on Mandy Moore?
Oh, I mean, she's great, and like I don't know, she's just got that like I don't know, there's that voice that's just. I mean, she sings. She's so great, and This Is Us, and So I mean, like I said, I don't remember the performance exactly because I need to rewatch Tangled, and I will be soon. I'm very excited about it. But yeah, she's a great singer, and just a great actress that I can't wait to see what she does next.
Cool. Jacob, any thoughts on Mandy Moore?
Yeah, I mean, if I didn't pick the villain,
Yeah,
I would pick her. She's great. The singing, yeah, it's just fantastic. I have a lot of fun with the movie overall, and it's because of the voice cast. I won't mention anyone else yet because there's still,
Right.
a name that could pop up, but
For sure. Yeah, the voice actor who played Pascal was just amazing. That's a joke because no one voiced Pascal. He's silent. But yeah, great pick. Brian, any thoughts on Mandy Moore?
Yeah, it's a great performance. I'm hoping to do a live action version of it. Mandy Moore comes back as Rapunzel. Here's hoping, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, if they ever do remake it, they should bring her back. But honestly, I don't think it needs one because like, how do you make a horse do stunts and stuff? I guess maybe they would find a way. All right. So Brian, I think you're up, right? Yep, Brian, you're up. You have one Renaissance left and one modern left.
It's a fun. I'll probably go with from the modern era. I'll bring up Jennifer Lewis as Mama Odie.
Ooh, Jennifer Lewis's Mama Odie. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Actually, I just saw her perform on Dancing with the Stars. She performed that song on
Yes.
Dancing with the Stars, which is kind of cool. Tell us about
I-
Jennifer Lewis.
Yeah, this is fun performance from her. Sorry about that, my mic. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, a great performance. Love her song, Digging Deeper, and quite underrated Disney song actually. It's one of my favorites from 2000s, and that's my pick.
Mm-hmm. I know, Chad. I don't think you've seen Princess and the Frog yet, right? No. Okay.
Me and Carrie haven't seen
neither
it.
of you care. Okay.
One that we're going to watch together, and we're very
Cool.
excited for it because
Yeah.
I want to see that performance now. So
Yeah. Jacob, any thoughts on that?
Not really, because it's a movie I've only seen one time, and while I remember really liking it, I haven't revisited it in years, so the performance just isn't in my mind like as much. So I'm sure it's a great pick. I'm gonna rewatch it eventually. I'm sure. So I'll let you know then.
Cool. All right, moving right on. Chad, you get your final two picks here. You've got, what do you got left?
I got classic
and a modern. Yeah.
and a modern.
Cool. Let us
And
know.
I was just trying to figure out which order to do them in. I think I know which one I'm doing because I like the. I'm thinking about like the graphic.
Yeah.
Like I know it's going to be on the top, and then I want to have something like really, I think, iconic on the bottom, because that's like a good like kind of sandwich, like the two loaves.
A Mufasa sandwich, yeah.
Yeah, yep. I'm gonna pick something else that's kind of furry for the bottom, but for now, actually, they're both furry things.
Okay.
As funny as you think that is, they're both furry things. I'm gonna go with, and it's a movie that I saw not that long ago. For the first time, that everybody was like, "What? You haven't seen that movie?" I'm gonna go with Chris Sanders' A Stitch.
Oh,
That's
cool.
a good pick, actually. Very good.
Because I was sitting there thinking, I had like other people, like he wasn't on my list initially. And then I was like looking through my list. I was like, there's a lot of really good ones here. And then I was like, wait a second. I was looking over the movies from after the Renaissance, and I was like, you know what? Stitch. I was like, that's just like such a great performance because of like all the, I don't know, just the sound of this. It's hard to describe, just the sounds he makes, Stitch.
Mm-hmm.
And then like he barely like kind of talks, unless it's maybe in like an alien language or whatever. But like when he does talk, it's like this weird kind of squeaky, like Ohana means family, but he says it in like a really. I'm not going to try to mimic it, but I don't know. I just think he made this character kind of iconic in the 2000s. Everybody loves this character, and I think he's great. And I just think that like actual like voice performance was just, what is this blue thing going to sound like? And he just like really made it amazing. So
I wonder because he also directed and wrote the movie, obviously, and I wonder if he wrote it with his voice in mind. If he was always like, I'm going to voice.
I didn't know that actually. So
yeah.
That's
I wonder, and I also looked up to see if he also voiced Toothless, because he also did the How to Train Your Dragon movies. But I don't know if Toothless has a voice.
We'll have to do DreamWorks at some point.
Yeah, but yeah,
Oh,
Dean DeBlois and Chris Sanders obviously only did one Disney movie, but a lot of people love it, Lilo and Stitch, and obviously did the How to Train Your Dragon movies. He's amazing, and I didn't even think of him for voice actor. I was always like, oh, he's a director, but I was like, yeah, that's a good point. I forgot he voiced Stitch, and that's an amazing Amazing pick. Yeah, that's such an out of left field choice that I love. I mean, because it's also such an iconic character, like you said. Like it's gonna play well in the graphic too. So
Yeah.
yeah, great pick. Anyone else thoughts on Chris Sanders?
It's a great pick. I didn't really think of it to now. Not my one of the most underrated. People don't think about his performance. People think of the actual voice actor, not the director.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jacob, any thoughts on that?
He was on my list.
Nice, nice.
And I was debating on taking him with my last pick. Well, that's where it's like, do I continue with the theme or do I go with just such a lovable, fun, iconic character? Which you made the decision easy now.
Yeah, that's why I did it, because I was like, you know what, Barber needs to have a villain list. And I do
They're
want
in
to
cahoots.
I do want to clarify something. I said that we for draft day that there was a DreamWorks. There wasn't. I was thinking of the trilogies. Because how to
Oh,
Train Your
gotcha.
Dragon was picked for trilogies, not.
That's right,
So
that's right.
DreamWorks would be a fun episode at some
That would
point.
be
Yeah.
really fun.
I agree with that.
And he also did the Croods, which I don't know if that matters to anyone.
I like the
And he wrote Mulan, and he wrote Aladdin and Lion King. Wow, this guy's talented.
Great guy.
Yeah, what a guy. So Chad is not only taking a great performance, but a Disney legend because his
Yeah.
name will be on there and the characters. So like you're getting the package. So who's going to be your last pick for the classic era?
Yeah. This one there was a lot that I was like, you know what, this would be good. This would be good. There's a lot on my list that I actually would really like to have, but I think there's one that's just like really, really iconic character, iconic voice. It's like another one kind of like Stitch that you would be like, how would this person sound? And then other people have done it past when there's been like other movies made of this sort of like franchise. But I'm going to go with the classic. I'm going to go with Paul Winchell as Tigger.
Nice. I knew you were going from. I know you're going from that movie, but I just wasn't sure which one you were going to pick. That's a great pick. Great pick. Yeah.
Because like you always get excited when Tigger is about to come up. You know, when he's doing the Ti double gut and the Tiggers love to bounce and stuff like that. And like even like in your video when you had like the little clip of him going, ugh, Tiggers hate honey. And just like, I don't know. It's just like, I think one of the most iconic characters of the classic era. Yeah, Tigger.
I don't disagree. Anyone else thoughts on Paul Winchell's performance? Carrie, any thoughts?
Yeah, this is just a really iconic one. It's one that I grew up watching and always associate with that character.
Yeah, it's amazing. Jacob, any thoughts?
Yeah, it's another great pick. Yeah, I think Tigger's voice is just a lot of fun, and yeah, just the way he delivers the lines, it's great.
Right. And Brian, any thoughts on Paul Winchell?
All has been said.
What was that?
All has been said.
Oh,
Gotcha.
yeah, especially that laugh that he does.
That was a very piss poor version of it. But Brian, what would you like for your final pick? You got to go. What is it? Renaissance here. You got to go Renaissance.
Yeah,
a lot of good ones out there for you.
There is. I can't pick for the same movie, right? Like if I pick one.
Yeah, you can go same movie. Yeah.
You know what? I'll go with it. I'll go with Jonathan Freeman and Jafar.
Ooh, okay. So you're playing alongside my Yaga pick. Jonathan Freeman. Yep. Tell us, why do you love Jonathan Freeman?
I love his tone, like the messy voice, even all the whole laugh, his whole evil laugh he gets from it. All the puns he makes at the end, toward the end of the film, and great villain. So that's my pick.
Yeah, and he also went on to play Jafar on Broadway in Aladdin, which is kind of cool. So he originated the voice on Broadway as well. Yeah, very, very interesting. Looks completely different than you would think he looks after hearing the voice. But he's a cool dude, and he's very nice apparently in real life. I haven't met him, but I had a friend who was in Aladdin and said he's a very nice guy. So, Chad, Carrie, any thoughts on Jonathan Freeman as Jafar?
Yeah, I mean, just another like very conniving voice. Great job. Jafar's iconic. Yeah,
it's a really great pick.
And Jacob, any thoughts?
Yeah, he doesn't have a villain song, so who cares?
If he does,
No,
it's
I'm.
on the
It's
movies.
it's a fantastic voice performance as well. Yeah, just another evil, menacing voice.
Mhm.
So yeah, really good pick.
Yeah. And that rounds out Brian's draft. Let's move on to Carrie. Carrie, what is going to be your final pick from this modern era?
Okay, it is gonna be Ali Cravalho, who plays Moana.
Yes!
Moana. She just has, man, a powerhouse of a voice. We listen to
How far
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
go.
How Far I'll Go all the time,
It's one of my
and just
faves.
the rest. I mean, it's a good instance of like Disney was, I think, starting to get more progressive and actually casting actors that match the ethnicity of the character
Mhm.
they were portraying. And I think it was just
Important.
great. And she just does a fantastic job of, like, I don't know, she's just so believable as this young woman.
Yeah, I like what you said about like authenticity because she's young. She like I think that's another thing is she's not just the right race for the role, but
Yeah.
like she's also young, which a lot of the Disney princesses they're played by somewhat older women. So I like that like they kind of got that authenticity. And I believe she hadn't done anything like she was discovered for this movie, which is cool. Yeah, no, I thought about it. I'm not as much of a Moana fan as others, which is why I didn't want to pick it because I wanted someone else to get it who likes the movie more. But I love her. I really do. She's amazing. Jacob, any thoughts on? I know. I think it's your favorite of that era, right? I remember you
It
commenting
is.
on the video.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, and it's I love Moana. The since it first came out, like the music, and the story. Like I know, some people think it's a very simple story, which it is, but I think sometimes it works, and I think for Moana it works. Like it's
Yeah.
about Moana trying to you know find herself, and the other performances in this movie are fantastic as well. But I think she like carries this movie absolutely, and from such a young age too. Like she's 15 or 16 in the movie when it came out, and yeah, working alongside other people, which we can mention later. I
Yeah.
think she held her own, and she was fantastic.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
a bad pick at all.
Yeah,
Chad?
there's two more performances from that movie that I love as well,
Yeah.
especially one that is one of my favorite songs. But How Far I'll Go is so amazing, and I actually watched the music video. For it's like a music video like cover, but it was by like some like other musical artist, and I was like,
Was
the
it Demi
way,
Lovato? Maybe or
no,
that was Let It Go. That was Let It Go.
no, I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know who this person is, but like the way she sang it was like how she thought that like a modern like artist like pop
Mhm.
artist would sing that, and I was like, no, you gotta like let those belt out and let those kind of linger. And that's exactly what that actress did, and she's so good with that, especially the song. I haven't seen the movie in a while, and I'm very excited to revisit it. But yeah,
Yeah, I just looked up. Yeah, Alicia Cara did the credits
I
version,
wasn't a
which you're thinking
fan
of.
of
Yeah,
that version.
I love her, but yeah, that I like Ali's Cravalho's version obviously a lot more. I mean, that's an amazing performance. Like wow, like that's actually probably my favorite like Disney princess performance. I think if I had to draft one, so really good pick. Brian, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's a great pick. It's my second favorite performance for the movie. The one maybe might get picked or might get talked about later. So and I quite enjoyed it a lot. I was hoping it would win the best animated feature at the Oscar, which
Hmm.
over Zootopia, but
It was a tight race that year.
it was.
Kubo was that year too. Very good race.
Great.
Oh, weird.
Mhm. Okay, so Jacob, you were gonna pick your final pick, also from that modern century. Modern century, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Not only from the same era, but from the same movie.
Oh boy.
And he's not in the movie a lot, but I think his performance is memorable. I
I'm glad
think
you
he is
didn't go.
fantastic. And another one, it fits the theme. I didn't come into this with a theme.
Yes,
But all of these are memorable. They all have great songs. I'm going Jermaine Clement
yes.
as Tamatoa. Yeah, he's only in the movie for a short time, but I think he absolutely kills it. And his song "Shiny," that
Shining.
is a banger. It is so good.
For some reason I just never that song I don't like, but maybe I just need to watch it again.
I
I
love
just maybe
that
need to watch it
song
again.
so
Chad, talk about him too, because you seem very excited about this pick as well.
I just love Jermaine Clement. He's just like, if you talk about like, excuse me, like voice acting, like Alan. Sorry,
No, it's okay.
you talk about like Alan Tudyk and like those that like are in like a lot of stuff. Like Jermaine Clement. Like look at him, like at the big villain of the BFG. Just like in like all the What We Do in the Shadows stuff, and Flight of the Conchords. He's just like a really great like musician, and his songs are always so funny. He knows how to be really comedic in his songs, and Shiny is just hilarious and fun, and I love that hook. That's just he'll go off on like some verse tangent, and then he'll just always find a way to return back to, and it's so shiny. It's the best. I love it. I keep forgetting that he's in that movie, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
the crap.
Yeah,
And if you
I
guys
like him better
haven't
than The Rock
listened-
though. I'd like him better than The Rock. In
Oh,
that,
yeah,
so,
yeah.
yeah.
And if you haven't listened to Flight of the Conchords, I highly recommend it because they are so good.
Nice. Carrie, any thoughts on that pick?
Yeah, Chad, like Chad said, he listens to this song a lot. It basically goes "How Far I'll Go," and then we move into "Shiny."
Just skip the shiny.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just like Jermaine Clement's performance always it makes me laugh. I don't know. He's just it's just a really great fit for that villain.
I also like You're Welcome, but yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, everyone knows
I
my thoughts
liked
on The
You're
Rock. in that
Welcome
movie.
when it came out.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah, that's a great music in that movie too. So yeah, the fact that he gets that one centerpiece song is pretty great. Brian, any thoughts on Jermaine Clement?
Yeah.
Clement?
Wasn't that big of a fan of Shiny as well. It's like my least favorite song for the movie. But for performance, it was just okay. Not my favorite performance for the movie.
Well, there we go. I mean, it's a 5th round pick, so these are more personal picks, when we get to the end of it. But I got to round this out now with a classic performance, and this one was tough because I had so many on my list, and I don't think there's like a celebrity factor to play in. I almost went because his last pick, I can say I almost went Billy Joel because I love Billy Joel for Oliver and Company, but I'm not gonna do it
he was
because
on my list.
I think he's great, but I like other voice performances better, not just singing. And I was between two. I want to go with one, but I picked him for the regular Disney draft way back when. I picked Winnie the Pooh, spoiler alert, so I'm not going to go with Sterling Holloway, even though I love him. I'm going to go with, when I think of Disney voices, I think the two most iconic voices to me are Sterling Holloway's and Pat Buttram. Pat Buttram, you may not know the name right away, but when you hear that voice, you know exactly what that voice is. So I'm going to go my favorite Pat Buttram performance, which is the Sheriff of Nottingham.
Okay.
So because he also plays the dog chief in Fox and the Hound, but like he's such an instantly iconic voice where he's gonna get that like whisper. It's such a good voice, and he's got like it's so good. And I think
that movie.
when I think of like the two most iconic performers, like I said, it's like Sterling Holloway and Pat Buttram. But like it might not give me points on the graphic because not many people know the name, and Robin Hood itself is a little lesser appreciated in that role specifically. But like it's one of those roles where you hear that voice and it's like that's like a voice performance, like that's like a cool voice. It's an instantly recognizable voice. And yeah, I wanted to get maybe another villain on here, even though I got two already, Kronk and Iago. But Kronk and Iago, they're sidekicks.
Kronk's barely a villain.
Kronk's innocent. Let's say I got one villain on there, and now I got another. But yeah, a lot of great villains from that era. And we'll go through honorable mentions in a sec. But I was between Sterling Holloway for Winnie the Pooh and this one, but I was like, you know what, Winnie the Pooh. Chad already brought up Tigger, so like that representation's already there for Winnie the Pooh, and I already brought up Winnie the Pooh in the last draft. I didn't want to make it too Pooh heavy. I didn't want to end this draft with a big Pooh at the end. So I went with Pat Buttram. So I didn't end with Pooh. I ended with a butt rum. So any thoughts on Pat Buttram, Chad or Carrie?
Yeah, I love every time he shows up in a movie. I just love that voice because it just sounds so kind of like kind of country, and it just totally fits in Robin Hood because that's a very kind of country style movie. And yeah, and I love him in other things like Fox and the Hound and stuff like that. But he's like like Jim Cummings and stuff. Like every time he shows up in a movie, you're like, or John Ratzenberger from the Pixar. It's like he shows up every time or almost every movie it seems, and you always go like, I know that guy. I don't know his name, but I know that voice.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's a
Carrie?
bastard in that movie.
Well, yeah, to me, because I wrote this Disney watch we're doing was the first time I'd really seen Robin Hood. So to me, he's chief. But he just gives it's such a unique voice and such a unique performance. It's really cool.
Yeah, Brian, any thoughts?
Yeah, it's one of those great performances. One of the most memorable performances in Robin Hood.
Yeah, and Jacob, any thoughts on Pat Buttram?
Yeah, I don't know the name, like you said, but once you like mentioned the characters, like that voice is just great, iconic.
Yeah. I just want to say, I know it's tough with only 25 picks, but we did leave off Jim Cummings, Sterling Holloway, and Alan Tudyk, and I know a lot of people are gonna be mad, but like again, it's like you have to also pick one performance of all theirs. So it's like, I mean, like how do you pick Sterling Holloway between Winnie the Pooh and Ka and all those performances, and then obviously Alan Tudyk has so many. But let me rattle off these draft boards now, and then I will go to honorable mentions. And remember, everyone, the poll will be live right after this drops. So go to Facebook. The link is going to be in the bio below in the description as well. Go vote for your favorite. And all of us can't vote for our own. We have to vote for someone else's. And I don't know how I'm going to vote because you all did such a good job. But starting off, Chad's James Earl Jones as Mufasa, Stephanie Beatriz as Mirabel, Jodie Benson as Ariel, Chris Sanders as Stitch, and Paul Winchell as Tigger. Brian has Robin Williams as the Genie, Eartha Kitt as Yzma, Verna Felton as the Queen of Hearts, Jennifer Lewis as Mama Odie, and Jonathan Freeman as Jafar. Carrie has Ava Gabor as Miss Bianca, Pat Carroll as Ursula, Paige O'Hara as Belle, Mandy Moore as Rapunzel, and Ali Carvalho as Moana. Jacob had Vincent Price as Radigan, Jeremy Irons as Scar, Tony J as Frollo, Donna Murphy as Mother Gothel, and Jermaine Clement as Tamatoa. I had Patrick Warburton as Kronk, Angela Lansbury as Miss Potts, Jason Bateman as Nick Wilde, Gilbert Gottfried as Iago, and Pat Buttram as the Sheriff of Nottingham. That is a tough draft board to crack. I mean, but so many performances were left unsaid. So let's go through era by era. Let's go classics first. I'll start, as I said, Sterling Holloway for Winnie the Pooh and Ka the Snake in the Jungle Book. Really iconic voice performance. And then John Fiedler as Piglet, also seen in 12 Angry Men. Great pick. Yep, Billy Joel, like I mentioned. I thought of Peter Bain, the little kid who played Young Thumper. I just love that voice. Like, hey, thumpin'. I love him. And then Eleanor Audley as Maleficent and Phil Harris as Baloo were both on my list as well as potentials. I'll just go counterclockwise here. Jacob, any classic honorable mentions?
Just kind of a couple that you mentioned: Billy Joel, Phil Harris, and then I also had Carl Swenson as Merlin. I think that was a good one. So I just a few. I didn't, since we were only doing one pick. I didn't list a lot. So
right. Brian, any honorable mentions for the classic era?
Sure. I had Edwin as Mad Hatter.
Mm-hmm.
I had Louis Prima as King Louis.
Mm-hmm.
Sterling Holloway as the Cheshire Cat.
Oh, I forgot he also did that. Yeah.
Jay O'Malley as the Tweedles.
Tweedledum and Tweedledee. Okay, yep.
Roger Miller as Alan Dale.
Mm-hmm.
And I had Carol Shelley as Lady Cluck.
Nice. Carrie, any honorable mentions from the classic era?
Yeah, I had on my list Adriana Castlebody as Snow White, Eileen Woods as Cinderella, and Catherine Beaumont as Alice in Wonderland.
Nice. Chad?
Yeah. I want to say the Mad Hatter, Ed Wynn, is a Matt Chapman favorite.
Matt Chapman said that he would have liked to pick that first if he could. So
I also had Catherine Beaumont as Alice. I also had Roger Miller as Alan Adale because I love those songs. Holy shit. Paul Winchell, Cliff Edwards as Jiminy Cricket, and Phil Harris as Thomas O'Malley.
Nice.
The Alley Cat.
Yes, I forgot he did that and Baloo, I guess. And Ava Gabor, the other one was Duchess, right?
Yeah.
Brian, you were alluding to earlier. Yeah. Cool. Now going Renaissance. I mean, there's so many, but the ones that were on my list teetering, I thought of Sebastian, Samuel E. Wright as Sebastian. I also thought of Timon and Pumbaa, Nathan Lane, and Ernie Sabella, but I was like, how do I pick one or the other? And obviously, all the ones you guys brought up. I also had James Woods as Hades on my side list, and Susan Egan as Megara. I love her voice in the singing as well. Jacob, what Renaissance performances did you have in your honorable mentions? Oh, I think you're muted.
The other villain I was thinking of.
Sorry, I didn't hear that. One more time. Sorry.
James Woods was the other villain
Okay.
that I was thinking of. Danny DeVito as Phil was another one. Eddie Murphy, Mushu, and then a couple from Rescuers. I had Bob Newhart, and then John Candy as Wilbur.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Brian, any Renaissance performances on your honorable mentions?
Had Robert Guillerme, the voice of
Rafiki, yep.
I had, even though it does come out the 90s, but I have Pauly Shore and Bill Farmer from Goofy Movie.
Yeah, I mean, Goofy Movie, yeah, it's in that gray area of it was Toon Disney, not Disney, so it wouldn't have counted. But it's good to bring those up. Yeah, it's great to bring those up because those are great performances.
I also had Donny Osmond as the voice of Li Shang.
Yeah, the singing voice, and BD Wong from Jurassic Park does these.
Ooh, love BD Wong.
North Renaissance, Paul Kando as Clopin.
Yeah, Clopin, another great character from Hunchback. Carrie, any honorable mentions for Renaissance?
Yeah, I also had Susan Egan as Meg. I think her voice is like so iconic. And then I also had Ming-Na Wen as Mulan.
Awesome, another great pick. Chad?
Yeah, I had Matthew Broderick as Simba. I had Nathan Lane as Timon. I also had Susan Egan as Meg because I love that song that she has. Holy shit. Mm-hmm. And then the other one that I was thinking about doing, the villain, was James Woods as Hades. Because, my God, iconic.
So good.
That's great. All right, moving on to the modern. This is probably the longest list I had. As I said, I forgot to go after 2016, but I probably also would have put Kelly Marie Tran for Raya in The Last Dragon. I think she's great. I had the other ones from Emperor's New Groove, David Spade and John Goodman, obviously. Michael J. Fox in Atlantis as Milo Thatch. Anika Noni Rose as Princess Tiana. Sarah Silverman and John C. Reilly as Ralph and Vanellope, two great performances. Alan Tudyk as like every character in this era, so you could pick him from any of those movies, except for Hey Hey. I don't like Hey Hey; he annoys me. But again, I'm in the minority when it comes to Moana. Kristen Bell as Anna. I like her a lot more than Idina Menzel as Elsa, but again, both are great. And then Jennifer Goodwin for Judy Hopps. I was between with Jason Bateman, but. My other one that I was really considering was Scott Adsit as Baymax. I love that performance as well. So that was on my list. Jacob, any honorable mentions from this era?
Yeah, kind of the ones you mentioned. I did have Idina Menzel, though. I do think, you can pick either one, and I don't think you'd be wrong. And then, I don't like the movie as much, Raya and The Last Dragon, but I think Awkwafina, her voice performance is still really solid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Brian, any honorable mentions?
Yeah, I had The Rock from Moana.
The Rock, yep.
Dylan loves that one.
Yeah, Keith David for Princess of the Fog.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that was.
I did have Alan Tudyk, but for King Candy.
Yeah, that would have been the one I would have picked too if I had to pick Alan Tudyk.
David Arden Stiers for Jumbo.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Dollar for Peakley.
Mm-hmm.
And also Tom Jones as the theme song guy.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about Tom Jones. I forgot he sang the theme song for Emperor's New Groove. Yeah, I guess that does count. It's a voice performance.
Right.
Great. Love Tom Jones. Carrie, any honorable mentions?
Yeah, I had a lot of the ones that were said already, but some other ones I had were Jessica Darrow as Louisa. She just has a really unique voice. Genesis Rodriguez as Honey Lemon.
Oh.
That might be it, actually. I think everything else has been mentioned already.
Nice. I love the Honey Lemon pick. Chad, any honorable mentions?
Yeah, the ones that I wrote down were John C. Reilly as Wreck-It Ralph, Jenny Slate as the assistant mayor.
I think that Bellwether,
villain, because she Jenny Slate is just another one. I think just has such an iconic voice, like Marcel, and the assistant mayor. I don't know. It's just like she's so good at voice acting. I'm actually fine that she got kicked off of SNL for dropping F-bomb.
I agree.
Jim Cummings is Winnie the Pooh and Tigger.
Mhm.
And then also Idina Menzel as Elsa, or Adele Dazeem, depending on who you ask.
Adele
Time of day.
Dazeem.
Oh, and another one I forgot to mention also, Tony J. When you brought up Frollo, I was alluding to another performance. Him as the narrator in Beauty and the Beast is just so good. It's like
Oh, I
that.
thought you
It
meant
really,
you'll bring up Richard Dark, the guy for the Insane Asylum.
yes, that one as well. But yeah, I love how he, brings you into Beauty and the Beast with that narration. I love that it's Frollo, and it's so good. And David Ogden Stiers, like you mentioned, Brian, he's done so many good ones too. He was Cogsworth. He was also Governor Radcliffe in Pocahontas. I don't love that movie, but I think he's really good in it. And Jumba in Lilo and Stitch, as you mentioned. That is our draft. That was an awesome draft. That was fun. Again, so many good names left on the table. We're sorry, all you Alan Tudyk lovers. Next time we do this, we'll make sure to squeeze them on, hopefully. But I want to do this again, maybe with this panel doing Pixar sometime in the future, because I think I didn't want to put Pixar in this one because I was like, that would have just made it too hard. It really would have. I mean, because then it would have limited it even more. I think even this was hard to narrow down. So we'll do a Pixar voice draft at some point next year, maybe. Yeah, but Strange World, everyone go check it out. This is going to drop a few days before that comes out, so go check that out. Check out my ranking videos on Disney if you haven't, and check out Chad's video when we all rank me, Chad, Carrie, and a few others rank the every single Chadwick Webb channel. And we rank every single Disney movie of these 61 now after Strange World. But yeah, that's all from me. Chad, I'll hand it over to you to talk a little bit more about your channel and where they can find you and all that.
Yeah, so since Dylan had the great idea to kind of like confine it to like doing each era ranking, we were like, why not like throw them all together and see what the ultimate ranking would be? So it's just going to be over on my channel, Chadwick Webb, where we rank a lot of things. We did like, Edgar Wright, Christmas, Harry Potter, MCU phases, all that stuff. But now we're doing just a massive Disney ranking, and we're going to do all 61, including Strange World. So it'll be after Strange World sometime. I'm very excited for that one and to see where we all fall with these movies. Hopefully there will be not a lot of upsets, but yeah. Am I also like just plugging other things too?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
check out Picture This. It's a show that Dylan and I do. Every month we do a year of the Oscars, so we like go through all of the Best Picture nominees and the winners, and we talk about them, we rank them, we talk about the actors and actresses from those films, and we talk about the ceremony, the year. Last month we did 1991 because of the iconic The Silence of the Lambs and Beauty and the Beast, and then we also this month we're doing 2009. In honor of Avatar 2.
I see you, Chad. I see
you. The Way of Water. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for that. And then also check out. I'll let Carrie do the other plug.
Oh, okay.
Carrie, go ahead.
So we have a show on the Nerd Entertainment Network YouTube channel called Welcome to Prime Time. It's a horror show. So we just discuss a different horror topic every week. This week coming up, we are going to be talking about Shudder's series, The 101 Scariest.
Are we?
You didn't look at your Facebook messages. We're going to be talking about Shudder's 101 Scariest movie moments. And we're going to be playing a little game where Hunter's going to give us the top 10 or 20 movies. And we're going to try to guess what the scariest moment was.
We also do a lot of other like Buffy rankings. Check that out too.
Chad thought we were still doing Buffy. Hunter's a little behind.
We'll do that the next weekend.
I'm not as well versed in horror as y'all, but if anything tops Reagan's head in The Exorcist spinning around, then it's gotta be a scary moment. So
or the spider crawl, maybe.
Maybe I don't know. There's so many ones. Brian, where can they find you?
Yep, you can follow me. I do trivia most of the time with different leagues. Mostly on Tiny Network doing Disney trivia. My round 2 matchup just aired today. I appear on the Movie Her Network. Next time will be on for me my One Trade Championship films of all time. My One Trade movies of all time championship. Nice. I do trivia here sometimes on Marvel movies. Mm-hmm. I compete in JPO's league on ASAP Pixel List where I beat Witchy most of the time, and sometimes I did judging for movie battleground.
Nice. And thank you as always for joining here. And Jacob, our first time guest, we hope to see you again here on the draft day in the future. Did you enjoy your first draft and where can they find you?
I did. I didn't come into this with a strategy. but apparently, as soon as round 1 started, like it just clicked. So
Villains.
I had a lot of
Villains,
fun. Yeah, I would love to come back for
Same.
whatever topic. This was a lot of fun. As far as where people can find me, you can find me wherever people will invite me.
Great, love that answer. So everyone, remember to vote at that poll. A vote, it's a right you have as an American and as a Brian. Do Canadians get to vote too?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, great. It's a human right
It's
all
on
around the world.
It's on Facebook, so yeah.
As a right around the world. I meant voting in general, but yes, and right here on Facebook. So we're right after the American elections here. We're a week past, so voting is important, especially that voting is more important than this voting. But still, exercise your right to vote on this channel as well, and vote for your favorite draft of this lineup. And next month we will be back. It will be a Christmas themed draft or a holiday themed draft. Obviously, it's December, but I don't know what that'll be. If it'll just be Christmas movies in general, if it'll be more specific, it'll be characters. I don't know. I may have to consult with Chad because he'll definitely be on that one. But I'll have to consult with Chad and a few other people on that. Also, Kelsey's a massive Christmas movie fan too, so I know you two are gonna have spots, but and I know a bunch of other people have messaged me that they want on. So it's going to have to be a lot of narrowing down and first come, first serve. I will post something on Facebook too, so people can sign up for that if you want to. And I'm going to do a sign up thing at the beginning of January too. If you want to be on one of these drafts, I will do a sign up for this and for Marvel Trivia if you want to get into it. What was that? Muppets, you said?
Different topics to sign for?
Oh, different topics? Yeah, I mean that's another good thing too. Yeah, you can sign up if you want to be on drafts and what drafts you may be interested in. I'll do that for the beginning of January as well as trivia. Like if anyone just wants to be in Marvel Trivia, I'll do that as well. In the beginning of January, I'll put signups. But for Christmas, I already have a bunch of people who've reached out to me already, so I'll have to go through that and figure that out and maybe make a post to be like, "Yo, first come, first serve." I'm not sure though, but keep an eye on the channel. Subscribe to that group on Facebook or follow it or whatever you do on Facebook. I forget. Especially because Twitter may not exist by the time you're seeing this video, so who knows if you'll be able to see it there. So yeah, everything you can find for this channel will be on Facebook and of course here at YouTube. And thanks of course for watching, and thank you all as amazing guests. This was really fun. We'll see you next month for draft day, and we'll see you later on this week for more fun stuff, whatever I got planned. I don't know, maybe it's not fun for you all, I don't care.